I actually believe that the 4th of July should be abolished. People ain't fighting for freedom. They're letting all these so-called authorities at the Constitution, even the guy that believes in this whole system and is for it, and says we're to obey government. But it don't say we're to obey the people in the government. The persons in the government. Just the government as a whole. Just the government. An imaginary thing that come out of the mind of a man and other people just believe and then obey because it says it in that book. And look it up. In what language does the word Bible mean? The book. It's another word. It's a word of another language. Bible is book. There's nothing religious about that word. And it's the greatest story ever told. Look it up. Is the Bible the greatest story ever told? It's not based upon facts. There was no Israel back then, before 1948. It's a story. It's not based upon facts. Nobody's fighting for their Bill of Rights, their freedoms in there. And plus, if you have a driver license and you have their plates on your vehicle, in which they say, well, then, if you don't have our plates, you have your own. And then they say, well, you're like a copyright infringement in a way, where they try to say you're copying their plates and you're not. If your plates don't have state of whatever state you're living in, it's not their plates. It has to have state of. You can have your own plates. You're free. It just says you must have your own plate. You must have plates on your vehicle when you're out on the road. So they have something to read. So they have something to write down and go, okay, this one is just a part, to this vehicle. It could be your name. It could be anything you put on that plate you want to. And they can have a record to that vehicle, the type of vehicle, the color of it, with that they wrote down. And if you did anything that was wrong, well, all they got to do is look for you in that plate. After they go to the prosecutor says, yep, they did something wrong, and we have a right to. If the person created a victim, no victim created, it's not a crime. People versus battle. Look it up. The Supreme Court stated plain and clear, traffic infractions is not a criminal offense. So if you break traffic law, it's not a criminal offense. It's not an arrestable offense. No driver license, no insurance, tags are out, registration's out, whatever. It's not an arrestable offense. The U.S. Supreme Court has said this, and these people, they ain't going to read when you hand the cops something that states plain and clear that it's not an arrestable offense. They ain't going to read it. Their job is to make the jail, the judge, the prosecutor, and the prosecutor is the real judge. The prosecutor is the one that is to prosecute you in the courtroom. That's why they're called a prosecutor. To prosecute you if you are guilty, and then the judge sentences you. Or the jury. Well, if you get a jury, the jury is like the prosecutor. So they can say whether you're guilty or not, and then if they say you're guilty, you've been prosecuted. That's why you have a trial by jury, not a jury trial. You demand it. I invoke the whole rule to how the courtroom is supposed to work. And they'll tell you, we can't do that. We can't give you a trial by jury because it's not of common law courtrooms. Their legislatures. Look it up. Our judges' legislatures. Administrative agents. Administrative clerks. That's what they are. They're not judges. It's a lie. It's gaslighting. It's manipulation. They're not real judges. They have no jurisdiction unless you create a victim. And like I said, when you're out there, if you don't have their stuff, you have the right to be anonymous in the private and undocumented. APU, APU. You have that right. Look it up. There's nothing that says you don't have the right to be any of that to them. But they don't have to know who you are and then create documentation on you or about you. They don't have that right. The Constitution, look it up. Does the Constitution give them authority to create, or give the government and the governors and the states authority, the delegated authority to create authority to police the public with? You can ask ChatGPT. It's going to tell you they don't. There's nothing that gives them that authority. Nothing. Not the mayors, not the judges, not the governors, not the president, not Congress. It gives them a right to make what they say is statutory laws. That's what they have a right to make. But they don't have a right to make laws and call them law of the land and natural law and all that. It's not natural law. Man created it. Not God. Natural stuff on this planet in reality is created by God. Plants, animals, us, and whatever else. Metal. The other stuff, plastic, styrofoam, we created. The artificial world, we created that stuff. So, and wax has always been around. But then they may have artificial wax that they could just create now. That's the world you live in. You live in an artificial world. Or artificial authority, artificial government, artificial politics with politicians, or politicians with politics, artificial president. It's all artificial. It's out of the mind of man. Put on paper, and you look at it, and then you put it in here, and then you go, okay, I accept it. It exists, and I'll bow down. I won't fight back and be free. We need to eliminate the 4th of July. A lot of people don't even know why they celebrate it. It's just a celebration. They don't teach you about it in school no more. I'm telling you, they don't teach these kids about history anymore. Because that history is more than likely fake, artificial, made up. His story. Put his and story together and you have history. Which is him saying, some man, oh, this is what happened in the past. Other people got together, and he was with other people, and they all say, yeah, we're going to create this and imagine this up and say this and that, and then we'll get the people or the kids in schools to believe it, and they'll grow up thinking it's true. I'm finally getting this guy to start understanding what the world we are living in. He's starting to agree. He even agrees with that. There's nothing in the Constitution that says they have the delegated authority, but he don't even really know it. But he says, well, I can agree with you that. I haven't read it, but I said, you read it. And then you got to take, and then you got to look it up. Why was the First Amendment created? Why was the Second? And so on, all the way down. And it'll tell you exactly why it was created. So, Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, nobody fights for freedom anymore. Pretty much, everybody just laughs at these people who are fighting for the Bill of Rights, the laws that's there to protect us from authority, any authority that's created. That's what it was created for, to prevent that, to prevent the authority we have today. So, you all take care. Enjoy your 4th of July, but you ain't free. I'd like to celebrate it, but now I don't want to celebrate it no more. I'm not free. I'm not free to go out and do what I want. Or some idiot that got hired as a cop, some mentally ill, paranoid schizophrenic that loves to be violent will bother me. Won't leave me alone. I'm not bothering anyone. I'm not running anyone off the road. I'm not cutting people off. I'm not being a narcissist and flipping people off left and right, being a dick. Oh, but they can do it. They can do anything they want. They don't have to read anything you give them that's from the U.S. Supreme Court that you say is law that they're supposed to read, just like Pennsylvania versus Mims, Terry versus Ohio, case laws, People versus Battle, 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 regular battle. Says plain and clear, they can't arrest you if you don't have any of that. Traffic infractions is not an arrestable offense. Yet these narcissists and mentally ill people love it when people get, just attacked, kidnapped, hurt, and thrown in a dungeon. And not bothering anyone. Like you're not bothering anyone right now. Are you bothering anyone right now? What if somebody calls and says, I think this guy, this frauditor is sitting here, is got a gun and is dangerous. I need you to do a welfare check on him. You're not free no more. And they walk up to your door. They have the right to knock the door. You answer it. And they have the right to just walk in your house and make sure that you're mentally sane. You're okay. You're not out looking like or seeming like you're going to hurt someone or yourself. Oh, where's your guns? Have you got any guns? Second Amendment or second law of the Bill of Rights. Law. I got to get out of calling them amendments. I'm brainwashed and indoctrinated to call them amendments when they're not amendments. The Bill of Rights is one thing, and then 1 through 17 that they say is 11 through 17 is amendments. That's another thing. And then added together is the Constitution, but they're still separate. Even this guy agrees. Because I told him it's the same as with Congress. House of Representatives and the Senate. And together, even though they're separate, but together, they work together as Congress. That's like one grocery store that's separate from a restaurant, but they get together and they're still separate and they become a whole, labeled group. And it's the same thing, but they're separate because one's a restaurant, one's a grocery store, one's the Bill of Rights, one's the amendments to the Constitution, one's the House of Representatives, one's the Senate, and then together they're this and that, the Constitution, Congress, whatever. I'm separate from another person. But if I get together with that other person, then give us a label as like a group, we're still separate. We can still work separately. I can still do my own thing over here, and they can do their own thing over here when we're not together to do something together. And so we're not that. They're not acting as just Congress. They're acting as what they are instead of just Congress. Because they're supposed to work together. But they are working together, though. Against us, our freedoms, our rights under the Bill of Rights. They just out there making everybody and themselves, the police, make kickbacks. Oh, forced insurance. They work for the insurance company. They're forcing people to go buy insurance, helping the insurance company make money. Well, look at the taxes. The state gets that money, and the government gets some. It goes straight to the IRS, and then the IRS gives states and the government some. All that money is owned by the IRS. They make it. And it all goes right back to them. Because they own it. And then they say, here's you some, and here's you some, and use it. Even they really don't own anything. They're not buying anything with gold and silver. The IRS owns it all. And it's a fictitious entity. The state is a fictitious entity. You can't turn a state into a victim. You can turn me into a victim. I'm alive. You can hurt me, damage my property. You can turn me into a victim. A state is imaginary. It's on paper and it's right here. Imaginary. There's no state you can actually touch. You can actually see as a state without it being on paper. And then right here, you can't see it. You can't feel it. Like God. Y'all treat the state and the government like it's God. Well, if God don't exist, well, the states and the government don't exist. You can't see it. You can't feel it. You can't smell it. You can't, lick it to feel it or anything. You can't, or taste it. You can lick a building. You can lick a person. You can taste them or buildings maybe. You can lick paint. You can lick, whatever. You can touch it. You can feel it. You can smell it. It's reality. It's right there. This flashlight. This ain't fictitious. You can see it. You can touch it. And it does have an odor to it. Metal has an odor to it. And you can make it do things. You can't make a state do anything. You can't point a gun at a state and say, you're going to do this or that. You're going to leave me alone. You can't fight against a state. That's imaginary. It's a fictitious entity. The all caps name is a legal person. Is a fictitious entity that they created to put you under, to have control over you. As a corporation, you're a fictitious entity. You're a corporation. And that's how they're able to do what they can to you. Because you're a corporation. You don't have any rights. And they ain't going to tell you that. You could sit there. Are you looking at me like I'm a corporation? I don't have rights. Because I'm not a corporation. They're taught this stuff and they keep it to themselves. Because they don't want the public to know. Oh, and I guess there's a bunch that don't know. Because, I've got a nephew. These cops are all tin men. You know the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz? He's all, I want a heart. I want to feel things. Well, that's what these cops are. They're tin men. They have no heart. They have no compassion. They have no love for another person right here. You go, I'm hurt. I can't hurt them. It's another person. I love them. It's flesh and blood. Oh, no, you're a corporation, so I don't have to care about you. I don't have to have any compassion about you. I can damage you and your property. Because that's what they see it as. They're damaging us. They're not hurting us. But you won't look it up. All those out there that won't look it up. You won't look it up. You won't educate yourself. You want to be unintelligent the way they need you to be. So you'll bow down like a good little slave and do what they want. They're your master. They're your daddy, your mommy, your babysitter, your caretaker. You give them power of attorney over you and your property when you start getting your stuff fixed up through their crap. You turn it all over to them. You turn yourself over to them. You give them all kinds of authority over you. You give it to them. And you can't see it. You gave them everything you own. You accepted all of that. You said, yes, I'll borrow your money and I'll owe you. No matter what I buy, I still owe you. And really, when you get a loan, you're not supposed to actually pay them back in debt money, what's said to be money, debt notes. Because it's debt. You can't pay a debt with debt, IOUs. You can't pay a debt with an IOU. Okay, I'll give you this IOU note to pay off what I owe you. It don't make no sense. It's like you might as well take a piece of paper and say, I owe you $20 or $2,000 because that's what you got a loan of, you know. And then you hand it to them and they say, okay, it's paid off, but I still owe you. That's what those bills are. That fake money. It's an IOU. Here, grocery store, here, take this. I owe you still, but I get to take that home. Even these people who own these businesses don't even understand that. They ain't making any money. It seems like it, but everybody owes the IRS. Everybody owes each other, and then the businesses owes the IRS. And you, when you get that paycheck, that money comes, when you get that paycheck and you get it out the bank, that money, or fake money, comes from the IRS. You're getting IOU notes. You're not getting real money. And that's what you owe them for your labor. You're working for nothing. They just got you working for them so they can do all what they're doing. Hand out all that fake money. It's monopoly money. That's all it is. It's what it's worth. Same value. IOU is the same value as monopoly money. Worthless until you get actual money, which is gold, silver, copper, the stuff that's worth something. Aluminum. Hell, aluminum cans where I am, 68 cents a pound. It might be more now. From the last time I looked, last month or earlier this month, or last month, the month before. Everything keeps going up, and so does the price or the value of the metals. The gold and the silver, they're all going up. You know, they're all going up. But, like I said, let's either fight for freedom and be free as an American, or keep claiming to be a U.S. citizen under the 14th Amendment and bow down to them and have really nothing. You don't own what you got. And plus, when you die, you don't get to take it with you. You don't own it. And God, if he wanted to, he could take everything you got from you. A flood, big old flood rushes through, a whole lot of water. You know, tornado, destroys your house, throws everything everywhere else, carries it somewhere else, becomes somebody else's. You don't own anything. You're just here. People need to learn to quit being for uh, things, possessions. I just want to get what I need so I can live on my own now. I want to live on my own. Raise chickens, raise whatever, grow plants for food, uh, go out and hunt and fish for free to feed myself. But that's what I think. I think we need to abolish 4th of July. Nobody really gives a damn to celebrate. They did that one time during COVID. They told them, oh, F you, we're going to have our 4th of July. And they did it in the cities, the big cities, where it's illegal to shoot off fireworks and stuff. It's lawful under freedom, natural law, but under color of law, it's illegal, statutory law. That don't even apply to us. Unless you say, I'm a U.S. citizen and I'll get your driver license or ID, where I check the box, I'm a U.S. citizen, resident of a state, I have an address. You don't have an address. The post office created the address. The post office created the street name. And then the numbers for the mailbox. So that way they can deliver their mail in front of your property. On public property. Is it inside your fence? Are you renting that home that has a mailbox attached to the house that the government owns, or some sort of state government that controls a whole community of homes? Even if you buy a home in those so-called weird communities, you don't own that home. They can kick you out. They say, we don't like the way you're doing things. You can't have chickens. You can't do this. You can't do that. And you all are happy with this. They can come onto your property and in your home and say, you can't have this on your property. You can't have this in your home. Y'all are really for that? You don't want to be free and be in the private. Everything in my home and on my property is private property and I own it, not you. Well, as a U.S. citizen and using their money, you own nothing. You're a slave. Slavery never ended. The 4th of July needs to be gotten rid of. I think it was made up. Yeah, look at the people celebrating 4th of July, and we made all that stuff of history. Made it all up. We don't have anyone here from then and a little after that, they're all died off that was alive then. I talked to an older lady. She's a black woman. She's 99 years old. And I talked to her a little bit about, the past. And then she said, that's right. I pretty much forgot what it was we discussed. It's been a long time. She's probably gone now. Quite a few years ago. Maybe about 8, 9, 10 years ago. And she was 99. And the other one living with her was in her 80s or close to 90s. So, but are they all, even those people from before, they just sat down and at first it ain't bothering me. I hear that a lot. Oh, it ain't bothering me. What's bothering me? You're supposed to help fight to prevent that. That's your civic or your patriotic duty as an American of quote the United States of America, all of it, the first letter capitalized, the United States of America, dot, quotation. That's the name of our country. With the quotations. They can't turn America into a corporation. But they created 50 states that are corporations. To be corporations. State of. That's a corporation. Look it up. Is the state of Texas a corporation? Is the state of California a corporation? Okay. Is Texas State a corporation? Is California State a corporation? Look at the colleges. It don't say State of California College. It says California State College. Natural. They got us under all this imaginary fairy tale world of, what was that word? Artificial. An artificial world. I don't know what there's probably another word makes artificial, I can't think of it. So. But we live in an artificial world. And until y'all get away from listening to other men in a so-called high power that says they got the knowledge, they're the experts, they're the scientists. What's the other word besides expert? There's another one. They're, like geniuses. I can't think of it. Y'all will. There's experts. And there's another one that puts a person up a level than everybody else. Because they're supposed to be knowledgeable and an expert and everything. More than you. Know more than you. Well, yeah, they do know more than you. On purpose. Because they don't need you to know as much as them or more. Like I have. Like I said, none of my videos has gone viral. None. And I bash Trump. And that's what they want. Because they bash Trump. But it don't matter. Oh, yeah, you're bashing Trump, but you're not for us in all, any part. Democrat or just government. You're not for any of it. We don't care if you're bashing Trump or bashing Biden or whatever we want you to bash. You're not for us, period. You ain't getting no attention. You're not getting in the spotlight. I'd love to get in the spotlight. No one wants to help me get there. Even these people who think I'm dumb, they know I know what I'm talking about. Or they would be sharing the video. Look at this. And my stuff would go viral. I've only seen the frauditors. And then I seen one I caught that was had me. I think they were still alive, or they had the video already out. Then I said some stuff, but they weren't making fun of me with what I was saying. They had an open mind. They weren't closed-minded. Oh, I ain't going to listen to anything else. I'm just going to believe what I already believe because it may mess me up. I may not handle it. That's the problem. Too many people out there don't want to handle what more than likely could be the truth. Because it's too much. They're too indoctrinated in believing lies, being manipulated. A lie is easier to believe than the truth. And the cops know it. The president knows it. Politicians knows it. They'll tell you the truth. And then, oh, this is bad. I ain't going to listen to it. Because it makes me feel, weird. It's supposed to. And you're supposed to feel that. You're supposed to know it. And then you're supposed to say, that ain't right. I'm going to fight and stop it. Oh, no, I'm just going to bow down and listen to what I like to hear. Makes me feel good, and that's it. That's all people is for, is what makes them feel good. They don't want to listen to all the bad and then see that there's more bad than there is good. And then get out there and fix it to where there's more good and like 99% good and maybe there'll be some 1% bad. Maybe. It could be less. Below 0.5%. Oh, but y'all don't want that. Oh, we put it in somebody else's hands. Well, how has that gone? More crime than ever before. There's a woman that I used to know, hang out with, friends, and she turned into a big thief. They just got caught robbing a fire department out here in this little town I'm in. Little town. And it was 2 houses. They searched one, and then they came over to hers and searched hers and got them. And then one right here, and then one right over here, just on the other side of another building. I don't know if anything happened to that guy that lives right next to the building in a mobile home trailer type thing. You hook up to a vehicle. It's got that deal that goes inside the bed, kind of curves downward, goes inside the bed and hooks up in the middle of the bed. Pretty much where the back wheels sit, right even, or maybe a little bit in front, past the axle. But, yeah. Yeah, nobody cares about freedom. They say they do. I'll hear it, but they really don't. I see it. They show it. I don't care what you say. I care about what you do and don't do to prove that what you say is true. Oh, if I was a cop, I'm not making fun of them. I'm just, putting it like this. Here's the deal, Brian. But if I was a cop, I put it in this comment section. Well, you're not a cop. You ain't becoming a cop, so you can stop these others from doing what they're doing. Nobody is. No good people want to become a cop to make sure what they're doing they can't do. When they ain't gonna hire you if you don't do what these cops do. Get violent, bust windows. Oh, you won't give me what I want. You won't follow my orders. What contract did I sign to follow your orders? 'Cause I said so. No, where's the law that says so? It ain't 'cause you said so. That's not how the law works. There ain't no 'cause I said so. That's what the parent says. A guardian. Babysitter. Grandparent. They say that. 'Cause I said so. Little child. Well, you're grown up, so you're a slave. Your master said so. You better do it. That's your master. Authority is your master. They're all authority as one. No matter if they're troopers, sheriffs, or cops, or FBI, or CIA, or politicians, or commander-in-chief, that's the president. They're authority. It ain't because the law says so. It's because I, the authority, says so. And that's the problem. So, yep, I'm for eliminating the 4th of July. Let's get rid of it. Nobody wants to be free. Everybody keeps bowing down and not just in droves saying no more. Take the plates off the beef. They see 1,000 people out running, or 500 people out running around with no plates. Eventually, they're going to have to stop pulling people over and say, we can't enforce it. People's no longer obeying. They're saying no. If they want to treat you like a child, they're your parent. Oh, so. No. That's what we should do then. Let's act like the children they treat us as. No. And the more that does it and then goes out and makes a formal claim against them, not a complaint form, not getting a complaint form and making a complaint. It's just a complaint. It's really nothing. If you make a claim against them, you claim that they violated your rights, not that you're complaining. Oh, quit complaining. Quit bitching. Quit crying. That's what a complaint is. You're crying. Well, if you make a claim, you're making a factual statement. A complaint don't have to be seen as a factual statement. It's just a complaint. So stop with the complaint forms, make real claims, and you can actually more than likely fix them. If you don't want to become a cop and do it that way, physically, and get on these cops, no, you can't do that. This right here states plain and clear, oh, wait a minute, they're showing us something that the U.S. Supreme Court said. We obey U.S. Supreme Court case law. It's a law. So what case law are you presenting? Well, it says this. It's the U.S. Supreme Court. That's who we're owed to obey. The highest law enforcers or creators in the United States federal corporation. You're a corporation. You got rights. You got their justice system created to protect you. But it's not about justice. It's about money. But you're not giving them money. You're giving them IOU notes. You're paying fines and debts with IOU notes. Not real money. So you ain't paying anything. You're a slave to obey another man's laws, or so-called laws, statutory laws, edicts, ordinance. That's what statutory law is. Policies, regulations, edicts, ordinances, rules, mandates. That's what they're enforcing. They're not enforcing civil law, common law, natural law. They're enforcing made-up crap that they created.